Can you see my screen now?
No.
No, ma'am, it's not visible. It's not visible now.
Okay. Okay.
Take few seconds.
Okay.
You can start sharing, Sushma.
It's not sharing. Okay, just allow me one minute, ma'am. I'll just
It's visible, Sushma.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
So thank you so much, Deccan Mental Health organization, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my views on this important topic. I am Dr. Sushma Kumari, and today I'm here to talk about a very important topic called gaslighting, the hidden manipulation others use to control your life. So earlier this month, it was announced that in the year 2022, the most important word is gaslighting. So, like in everything, in every form of your relationship, to politics, to news about celebrities, the act of gaslighting is there. And sometimes, often without meaning to, even parents can be known to gaslight their kids. So now, when we move to delve more deeper into this topic, we like to know what gaslighting actually is. So the definition of gaslighting, it is a form of psychological manipulation that seeks to make a person doubt their own reality and feel perplexed in the situation of how they act or behave in a particular manner. So it's a form of emotional abuse which can be used by an abuser to gain power and control over the victim. It involves lying, denying, withholding information to an extent that the person can manipulate a certain condition or certain situation. It can be used to make the victim feel that they are going crazy and they are behaving very irrational. It can be also used to make the victim feel very guilty about it. So, so gaslighting can be conscious as well as unconscious. Not every form of gaslighting is consciously done. So unconscious gaslighting is not done with the intention to harm others, like not really knowing the goal that they want something bad out of the other person, with an intention to harm or making the other person go mad about it. There is a typical form or of tactics which is used in unconscious form of gaslighting, and the gaslighter basically is not aware of the harm that they are doing to the victim. Conscious gaslighting, on the other hand, is quite rare. However, unconscious gaslighting is done by many at the same time to some degree. Now, gaslighting differs from psychological abuse, lying, or disagreement. In gaslighting, there is mental abuse which is going on, whereas in psychological abuse, there is more of emotional violence which is happening. Um, suppose, how do you know that you are being gaslighted? A person will, for example, there are a lot of things which goes on in the process of gaslighting. The first is that you will hear a person always negating the fact that what you are saying is correct. They will maybe say that you are too sensitive about something, and what you're feeling, what your emotion is completely wrong. Your feeling of your emotional load is completely off. So that is one thing which comes with gaslighting. The second thing is that they will try to deflate from the topic that you want to discuss. Maybe that there's some problem going on in your relationship and you want to sit down with the person and talk about it. At that particular point, the gaslighter will always try to deflate from the topic and bring on another type of topic or something which has happened like 2 years back, and then like blah blah blah, this has happened and you didn't react it that way in that particular time. So they will always try to deflate your attention from the present topic to the other topic, which which the gaslighter might want to interact on. Third is the gaslighters will never try to accept what they have done or said. For example, they just come with an excuse where they'll say that, oh, maybe I'm just getting very old and I'm not able to recollect the information correctly. And did I really say this? I don't think I said that. Maybe you're just wrong, or maybe you're just trying to recollect something which has not happened. So these are the three very crucial signs of understanding how gaslighters behave in a particular situation. Now, gaslighting, the term gaslighting comes from a very old play which was titled as Gaslight in 1938, which was also adapted into a film in 1940, and then it was remade in 1944. In these works, a male protagonist, which is the husband, he always tried to convince his wife that she is imagining things that are actually happening, including like the dimming of house gaslights, which is the result of making her believe that she is going insane. So what the husband used to do is that in those times there were gaslit lamps which was there in the houses. Basically the term came from that particular play. So what he used to do is just to make the wife believe that she is the one who is overthinking or overreacting in a certain situation. He used to dim those lights, and when the wife was saying that there's something wrong which is happening and I think that this is what is happening, the husband always used to say that no, that's not the case. Maybe you're thinking too much, or maybe that you're going crazy. So this is the term. Gaslight came from this particular film. So one of the difficult things about gaslighting is the difficulty of it to identify it with different type of other tactic or different type of other psychological manipulation which is going on in the psychology era. So it's meant to confuse you and then make you feel that you are the one who is hard to play with. So these are some of the signs of gaslighting. The first sign is the twilight zone. The person who is trying to manipulate you and manipulate your behavior, emotions, and perceptions. You will feel that you are in a zone where your thinking, your perception will not match with the other people who is there with you in the same zone. So, and the second is denial. Like, the gaslighter will always try to deny your objective, your needs, and your perceptions. And now there are certain language which describe you or your behavior as certain languages, like you're crazy, irrational, or over emotional, oversensitive can be used to describe you or your behavior when you will try to put on your emotions. There will be a blaming which will be going on, exaggeration, which the gaslighter says that maybe you are exaggerating an information too much. Feeling confused and powerless after leaving an interaction. For example, if you think that maybe you will interact about it and you will come to a conclusion, after you come out of that interaction, you will have a feeling of confusion and powerlessness. And in that situation, there will be isolation. The gaslighter will always try to isolate you from your family, friends, and other support networks. Tone policing is another tactic or another sign of gaslighters, is like you will be criticized on your tone of voice which you use to challenge them in a situation. This is one of a tactic which is used to flip the script and make you feel like you are the one to blame, rather than understanding your situation or understanding what is going on. Now, withholding is the gaslighter will again pretend that he or she is not understanding the information, or maybe what you are feeling is something weird, and you should have not felt it that way. So also there will be a cycle of warm and cold behavior. Like suppose you will be getting a verbal abuse and praise in the same conversation. So this will be there. So these are the some signs of gaslighting. Now, to make it more, more easy for us to understand, we'll just take examples from the day-to-day life. For example, like telling someone that something they clearly remember didn't happen, denying a conversation even which took place, manipulating someone's environment, like changing the things in a room and then denying the fact that things were like that and it was not changed, telling that the thoughts and feelings are invalid, and persuading that they are the one who is going crazy and unstable and not anyone else. So these are some of the real life examples which we have derived from the clients as well. So then M's partner would steal her money and then tell her that she was careless about finances and had lost it herself. So rather than accepting the fact that he has done it, he would just put the blame onto the partner. Z's boyfriend hid her phone and then told her that she had lost it in a dual effort to confuse her and prevent her from communicating with others. As I said already, that they will try to uh, isolate you from social groups, from your near and dear ones. So this is one of the examples which has been reported. Jay described her ex boyfriend as a chameleon who made up small stories to confuse her, like lying about what color shirt he had worn the day before to make her feel disoriented. E described her ex husband stealing her keys so she could not leave the house and then insisting she had lost them again. So these are some of the real life examples of gaslighting, which was now if you have seen some of the movies, that there was a very famous 2021 film on Netflix, which is The Girl on the Train, which the Hollywood as well as the Bollywood remake of it was shown, in which it was shown that how the it was she was abused psychologically by her ex-husband, and then her reality and afterwards her psychological well-being suffered. Another movie which shows gaslighting effects very well is a well-known movie. I'm sure most of us have watched this, Darling, in which we were actually offered two women, Alia Bhatt as which played the role of Badru Nisa, and then Shefali Shah as Shamshu Nisa, wherein they were both suffering domestic violence and emotional abuse. But I don't know, but like if you remember one of the scenes in which they both went to the police station and she was trying to lodge a complaint against her husband. The husband, at the same time, tried to manipulate the wife in a way that, he's the one who wants a perfect life with her, and not, he does not, whatever violence or whatever fury which comes out, it's all because of his drunkenness, and he's tried to proclaim his love. So there is another movie as well, which is a very famous movie called Tangled, in which it is seen that how a stepmother tried to gaslight her kid, in which she tries to, the reality is distorted, and then she tries to make the child suffer from a long term uh, inability to assume what exactly is going on in the outer world, and then whatever she thinks or perceives is again manipulated in a way that it's not the reality. Now, so what can be the causes of gaslighting? So there are many causes of gaslighting actually, but as I said, sometimes the gaslighters doesn't even know whether they are gaslighting. They might know, but it's like, whether why they do it, because they have a sense of lack of empathy towards the other person. They don't feel empathetic towards the person who's getting affected by it. And secondly, they are entitled to do it. They're in a higher position where they feel that they have the responsibility of to take care of the other, like for example, the parent who might just maybe the child has fallen down or have got hurt, but rather than acknowledging the fact the child has got hurt or is having a pain, they'll just say, no, nothing has happened, you're all fine, there's nothing which I can see is wrong with you. So these are some sort of gaslighting, manipulation one does when someone is entitled to take care of one subordinate. And the next is that their ego is so fragile that they don't feel the need to accept the blame onto themselves. They always feel that if I accept the blame onto myself, I will have a bad effect, like someone would be judging me on that way. So they have a very fragile self reality. They don't want to distort that reality by accepting what real is going on around the world. So they will always try to do gaslight, or make the other perception, or make others perception manipulated. So power and control is one of the causes of gaslighting. So they may feel that And the gaslighting, first of all, can occur in any kind of relationship, as I said, in a very personal relationship, in a child and a parent relationship. The constant is the gaslighter in a position of power. The researchers have found that it happens mostly in heterosexual relationships, with the man gaslighting a woman. So gaslighting and domestic violence often goes hand in hand. They may feel entitled to have things their way, or they always want their needs to be prioritized first compared to the others' needs. Now, low self-esteem. So the researchers have always, found out that when you have a low self-esteem, when you are doubting yourself more, when you have low trust on yourself, then you are more like susceptible to gaslighting. Manipulation is, again, gaslighting is denying reality with an intention to make the other person doubt about themselves. They try to manipulate the reality, and so that it benefits you. So one of the causes can be manipulation. Now, gaslighting can be done in a lot of other industries as well, like medicine, transgender parenting, workplace, and politics. So, in medicine, you just go to a doctor with a particular feeling. Maybe like after a delivery, a woman might feel very perplexed, and she might feel that she's not her true self. There is something wrong with her, and then she goes to the doctor, and the doctor will tell her that no, there's nothing which is wrong with her. It's just that it's just a phase, and then it'll pass. You have to believe that it's nice feeling, and you have to feel nice about it. So completely negating the fact of how she's feeling. So this is in medicine it can happen like that. Now, in transgender, there are many times in which parents of transgender kids who are not accepting the reality of their sexual orientation, rather than making them feel or manipulating their behavior. Like, for example, a girl would like to wear pants, then parents might just say that maybe you're liking to wear a cloth which resembles boys, maybe because it's making you feel comfortable, rather than accepting the fact that that's a sexual orientation. And obviously, in workplace and politics also, we can see that gaslighting goes on. Now, what are the effects of gaslighting? So, gaslighting can have a very, very serious effects on your psychological and mental health. So there can be loss of confidence. You might feel very perplexed, and you might doubt yourself. You can always have a sense of rechecking, redoubting, and second guessing yourself. Anxiety can be there. There can be depression, which you can suffer from, isolation from friends and other support networks. There can be post traumatic stress of all these trauma which you go through. There can be disorientation, wherein you will have always confusion of where you have kept something, or you will always self doubt yourself. Lowered self esteem, a hyperbolized fear of danger known as hypervigilance, in which you will constantly keep checking whether someone is, a threat is there in your life. And then, of course, suicidal thoughts follows. Now, how can you cope with gaslighting? So, of all the things I spoke about, like what exactly are the signs of gaslighting, how you can recognize that someone is gaslighting you. Is the first and foremost thing, if something is going on in your personal life that you are feeling that there is some sort of gaslighting going on in the relationship, is that you should always try to end the conversation that time. For example, if the gaslighter might tell you that you are being too oversensitive, or you are being too, you're reacting a lot about it, so just try to understand that that's your reaction, that is what you are feeling, and then try to tell the person that, uh, you know yeah, okay, I understand that it might not be a very big issue for you, but this is what I feel right now, and this is what my true feeling about it is. So you can end the conversation then and there, rather than going into a loop and making you feel that you are the one who's overreacting, because the gaslighter can do like that. Now, if the gaslight is deviating from a topic and not addressing to what it is, and if you try to tell them, okay, fine, listen, this is what this is what I have said. If you try to get in more proofs about it, like for example, dig into a photograph or email or something like that which you have said and you have proof about, a gaslighter has a very fragile ego, because gaslighter or will never like to get caught in any kind of a conversation which will try to make him feel that he is the one who is the culprit. So he will always try to deflate from the topic, and he will not feel it. So he will always try to maybe come up with excuses like, you're so petty, and you did something like recording, or are you showing me stuff like that, and it is not a nice thing in a relationship. So there is no win point in a gaslighting relationship. There's always something which you can do is try to make yourself feel comfortable and make your sanity work, rather than making him or her explain a certain point. So first you have to recognize the signs of gaslighting. You can just maybe feel that, okay, fine, this is happening again and again, and this is what my next step would be. You try to seek support and stay in touch with your friends and family. You can tell multiple people in your social network so that they can back you up and verify your experience of reality when in need. You can always set boundaries of between your partner and yourself, that this is what I can take and this is not something which is making you feel comfortable. You can keep a journal. If there is something which is eating away your self-esteem, you can always making you feel confused and disoriented. You can always keep a journal which can help you, back your control, so that you also know that this is what is going on in your life. And then of course you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline or National Sexual Assault Hotline. There are many other organizations as well, like Nari Swayam and Domestic Violence Helpline, and AKS Foundation. You can also dial a number for life-threatening emergencies. So you should always seek help of these organizations. Also, if the gaslighting is really eating you up and having a very bad effect on your mental health, you can and if you know of someone who is a victim of gaslighting and struggling with any of the symptoms spoken about, you can consider seeking support from a mental health counselor or any other therapist. It can help you navigate the trauma both as it's occurring and after a particular event. So the post as well as pre. There are many other online platforms as well which can connect you with licensed providers and psychiatrists and psychologists, as well as licensed marriage and family therapists, which can help you in this particular situation. And in any case, you should always be sure that you can walk out of a relationship, or you can walk out of a situation in which such thing is happening. So if it is making you feel a lot in your head, you should always be prepared to you should gain strength, seek support, and always be strengthened enough to walk out of it. So this is what gaslighting is. I covered it all, I think. Yes.
Yep.
So
Yes.
if there is any question which is
Yeah, Sushma, it was a wonderful session. We thoroughly enjoyed.
Very good session, Sushma. And your continuous flow of ideas are very positive. And I think I didn't miss even a single sentence. Very best way. One of the very good speakers, and you have presented the topic very precisely and very nicely, with examples of movies, which will appeal to a lot of youngsters. Please come in.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Bona.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I ask
Yeah.
you a question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
If we want to help somebody who is a gaslighter herself, so how do we go about helping her?
Yes. So, as I said, ma'am, gaslighters do not like to get caught in their action. Okay. So, it's a very fragile situation wherein the gaslighter would not accept maybe that this is what, but making oneself being aware about it, like this is making that person aware about is, or directly maybe, commuting to it, that this is what is going on and there is something wrong within you, or there is some sort of flaw of information coming from you, is the only way out. Because the more you will try to polish your words or make it more, like more nicer for them, they will always try to load you. If you will try to maybe write an email or something nice and maybe try to explain, they might not accept that fact. So the only way out is right now, and maybe you can just say it out.
You can use words like you're gaslighting or something. Give
Yeah, you can maybe
labels.
help the person with examples of how it works, and rather than, because you might tell them that I understand it might not be conscious, I understand that it is unconscious, and maybe you're not able to understand that this is affecting the other person's mental health, but this is what is going on and this is what has been noticed.
Okay.
Actually,
Because a
Sushma, till
person
now,
who's in denial is very difficult to handle them, right?
Exactly. So that also comes with narcissistic personality, because if the person is narcissistic or if the person is a sociopath, then it definitely comes from a different background, because there will be more challenges in making that particular personality type person understand this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sushma ji,
Ma'am,
I was under the
thank
wrong
you.
impression that gaslighter is a very strong personality. But you, first
Mhm.
time, not first time, in a clear way, you said he's actually fragile, agile or fragile, whatever it is. And that was a new angle for me. I thought gaslighter is a very strong, cruel person. But you have presented in a different way. Let me reflect on that, think about it, and make more study about it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Sushma ma'am, thank you so much. I have a question. Are these people, what kind of a psychological problem do they have that, they use gaslighting as a, mechanism to make the other person feel bad is what I want to know.
So, ma'am, gaslighters are not, as I said, gaslighters are not always conscious about, making about harming the other person. But actually, what happened in their life, maybe in their childhood, or there's some kind of childhood trauma, or they were in a family situation wherein they were gaslighted and they were the victim themselves, and they have learned it from their family upbringing or what sort of thing. So, this is one reason why gaslighters behave as gaslighters. Second thing is, it's always that they have the need to make their needs and want at the priority. So they will just not understand that other person's needs and wants are something that needs to be taken care of. They just have this, very like strong urge to make what they feel turn into reality. So that the urge to be in the power and that urge to take control of everything is what make gaslighters behave that way.
But how do we, when they do not have an insight, how do we make them, at least for the relationship to go on, how do we make them feel comfortable about it, ma'am? Because, if this is going to go on, the other person also feels bad every time. So if and you also told us that, they don't have an insight into it. So what is the actual solution to this, ma'am? Do we have to
So there are
continue with the relationship? Yes.
So yes, ma'am, there are coping strategies. I understand that, sometimes we will just sit with them and try to maybe, sit with that particular person and make the relationship work. And you will think that maybe we'll talk very nicely, or maybe we'll communicate all the issues, or maybe we'll write letters. But this is something that gaslighters, they don't want to get out of the reality that they have created for themselves. Their egos are very fragile. They think that, if their reality is distorted, then they will suffer a lot. So a complete, obviously there is a psychological treatment, which is, I would say, more of counseling or psychological treatment which is there. But the first step is to make the gaslighters aware that what they're doing is this. So, making the gaslighters aware of this particular fact that they're gaslighting others' life is something which needs to be taken care of in the very first initial stage.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Anita ma'am. In chat box, Archana, she asked some of the questions, ma'am. Yeah, when they are fragile, how can they harm others? Why can't they think others are also like them?
That's what gaslighters do. I mean, it's very hard for them to, they lack empathy. They lack empathy, and they think that, the first and foremost thing is that they don't empathize with others. They feel very entitled that they have the power and they can just, they move the situations, or they can just create a world for others. So their lack of empathy and entitlement is something which does not make them feel the other way around.
Yeah. Thank you, Sushma. Ravi Chandra, you can interact with Sushma.
Ma'am, it's a beautiful session. I learned so many things from it. Are you going to upload the video in YouTube, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. We will do that.
Thank you.
Now you have any doubt?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Sushma, some people are asking PPT. If it is possible, you can share with us.
Definitely, ma'am. I can email you if
Yeah,
that's okay.
sure,
If I...
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think no other doubts. Yeah, I will hand over the session to Merlin. Yeah, Merlin.
I, I would like to say thank you very much to Shushma and the organizers. I've learned something new today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I think one more question is there. Somebody raised their hand. Yeah, Parul. Parul Shane.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question. If what husband is going to a psychiatrist and he's manipulating about her wife, and based on that psychiatrist judgments wife and keep asking her question, how can that be handled?
I think psychiatrists and psychologists are very, well versed with this particular thing. So he will not be able to manipulate the psychiatrists and psychologists for sure, because there are a lot of, it's not just one session, there are a lot of sessions and there are a lot of processes and there are a lot of steps of a psychologist or a psychiatrist to actually conclude whether this person is suffering from this. So definitely he will not, or he or she will not be able to get out of that.
Because the person is gaslighting the wife, and it's like based on that, based on his behavior, psychiatrist asked the question and gave anxiety stress medicine to the wife. So whereas wife does not require medication, that is why I raised this question, how if I want, because he did not allow the mother and sister to talk to psychiatrist, he took psychiatrist away from them, and he said what he wanted to work on, like that.
Parul, in this case, I think it's a very, it's a very, it's a very personal case. I mean, that psychiatrist who's dealing with it, obviously, she might have a lot of records and a lot of interpretation of all those records and everything that she has spoken about. So it's a case where one needs to be completely aware of. With a very half-baked information like this right now, I won't be able to comment on why exactly, her wife was given medicines, but it needs a lot of other information as well.
Yeah, that is true. That is what. So going for second opinion would be better.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Parul. Yeah, friends, this can interact with Sushma or we can conclude today's session.
Yeah, good evening, madam. Good evening, all. Madam, is it a type of defense mechanism?
So defense mechanism can be used in gaslighting.
Yeah.
So it's like, all these fallacies, lying, and creating manipulations. These are the tactics. Like defense mechanism is a tactic which can be used in gaslighting.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you, Gayatri, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Sunanda, madam, for organizing such a beautiful session.
Yeah, with your cooperation only, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Merlin. Sir,
Yes,
you're in mute, sir. You're in mute.
Thanks for Merlin for suggesting the name and giving the name and reference of Sushma Kumari. Thank you, Merlin. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dinakara. Thank you, Dr. Sushma. It was a wonderful session. I'm sure some of us have come across this term gaslighting, and today we, with the examples learned in depth, what are the different ways a person can gaslight somebody in relationships, maybe at workplace and personal life. We discuss the effects of gaslighting, person who's undergoing it, and you discuss what, as a person, as a victim, we can do to deal with gaslighting, like documentation, evidence, keeping evidence of what is happening. So I think probably in the future we can have more in-depth session, like a proper, maybe this was a small session, so probably in the future we can have bigger, longer session where we discuss all these things and cases in detail. So on that note, to thank you on behalf of Tech and Positive Mental Health. Thank you for your wonderful knowledge and your, the time that you spent with all of us. And thank you all the audience gathered over here.
Yeah. Thank you, Merlin.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you very
friends.
much. Nice of you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sunanda.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sushma ma'am, and thank you everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.